Hello everybody, Mark, aka The Nerdy Punk, back again today for a new video. It's been a little while, guys. Today I'm at the movie theater, getting ready to go see Wicked, which, I gotta be honest, when it was first announced, I really wasn't into this movie. Didn't really think I would go watch it in the theaters, and it just wasn't my vibe. I like musicals, but this kind of seemed like, kind of a mass appealing musical. And typically, I like the musicals that are, a little bit weirder, a little bit more out there. Like Rocky Horror Picture Show, I consider to be my favorite movie of all time. But even though it is mass appealing in a way, it's also a very unique movie and musical as that. And the music is very much my cup of tea, like 60s, 70s rock, stuff like that. So I'm really not sure what to make of the music in Wicked. I'll be interested to see my thoughts on that, but I've heard nothing but just incredible things about this movie, and of course it's made so much money and it's got so many rave reviews, and I've heard some Oscar buzz around it, so I figured, you know what, let's go see it. And the big release day for me that I've been looking out for is Christmas, December 25th, of course, because there's 3 movies coming out that day. And I will not be seeing them on Christmas because, of course, of family stuff, but in the days following Christmas, I do plan to make several movie theater trips, with, of course, Baby Girl coming out, Nosferatu, and A Complete Unknown, all 3 movies that I desperately want to see. So I may do the Baby Ratu double feature. This is kind of, if you've been following the interwebs lately, this is kind of the Barbenheimer of 2024, with Baby Girl and Nosferatu both coming out, and I'm excited to perhaps do a little double feature of those 2 on the same day. So look forward to that. In other news recently, kind of want to catch you guys up on some stuff since I have been posting so infrequently lately. Trying to catch up on some 2024 releases that I missed. Recently, this month, I've watched several movies from this year. I did a Sebastian Stan double feature. He, of course, was in The Apprentice and A Different Man this year. Both of those came out, and I thought both of those movies were pretty good. I enjoyed those. They may or may not appear on my year-end lists. And then I also, last night, I watched Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola movie that came out this year. I was highly anticipating that, but when it did come to the theater, the time just didn't work for me. So I'm kind of glad I didn't watch this one in the theater. Needless to say, that was an experience, and not necessarily a positive one. So I finally waited till it came down in price for rent. It was $19.99 to rent it for so long, and it finally came down to $10 on Amazon this weekend, so I decided to check it out. And I'm glad I watched it, but definitely won't be my favorite of the year. So, yeah, Wicked. Gonna head into the theater here. I will be back in a few seconds for you guys, a couple hours for me, and give you my thoughts on Wicked.
A few moments later.
Alrighty, fresh out of the theater from seeing Wicked, and very appropriately, we have some sunlight action going on back here. If you've seen the film, you'll know that, sometimes to its detriment, sunlight plays a pretty prominent role in the cinematography of some of these scenes. I will get to that in a minute, but my overall impression of Wicked is that I had a ton of fun with this. It was really a good time at the movie theater. I ended up seeing this one in 3D. My showing was in 3D, and that wasn't intentional. Basically, the only show time that really worked for me today, because I really didn't want to hang around here too late, was a 3D showing. So I had a $5, discount for AMC, because I'm an AMC Stubs member. So I ended up getting a discount on this, so I didn't pay extra, really, to see it in 3D. And I haven't seen a 3D movie maybe since I was like a teenager, like, I don't know, maybe early high school days. I really could not tell you the last time I saw a movie in 3D, or the last movie that I saw in 3D. And I gotta say, it wasn't as good as I remember. I definitely will not prioritize seeing movies in 3D. I think, for the most part, it's actually a detriment to the movie. There were some scenes that were really cool, especially where they're reaching out, towards the camera. So, of course, you see, like, some scenes where Elphaba is reaching out, like, it looks like she's reaching out into the crowd, of course, which was cool. There were a few scenes like that. But for the most part, I don't really think this movie really benefited from 3D, and I think 3D really kind of makes the rest of the movie look a little bad, honestly. I thought it would have looked a little bit better. But then again, from what I've heard about Wicked, from those who have seen it in a regular format, the cinematography is one of the weakest parts of this movie, and I could definitely tell the certain scenes, especially with the sunlight, which is why this is very appropriate. There were so many like sun-drenched scenes that did not look good, and I could tell even in 3D that they did not look good. That being said, I think it's a little overblown. I think there were moments of this movie that looked incredible and looked really good. So the look on it is pretty mixed. The actual music, I really enjoyed the music in this thing. I wasn't sure going in, I'm not the biggest musical guy. I like musicals, but I tend to go for some kind of more under the radar musicals. I like musicals typically that have a little rock influence to them, usually because I'm a big rock fan. But there were moments in this thing musically that I thought were fantastic. I think most of the singing performances were very good. Obviously, Ariana Grande is an incredible and talented singer, so she could hold her own absolutely. But with this being really her first acting role, like major acting role, aside from like television, kids shows, I think she was really impressive as an actress as well as a singer, obviously. Cynthia Erivo was the best thing about this, though, like by far. Her performance was incredible in the dramatic moments, in the comedic moments, and especially singing. Like, she really knocked it out of the park. With her singing performances as well. And of course, the most famous song out of this, Defying Gravity, which appears at the end of the film, it gave me chills at times, both the performance and the story-wise. I was really impressed with parts of this movie. That being said, it is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and it's only the first half of the story. So I'm not familiar with the play, never saw it, or the musical, shall I say. So I'm not entirely sure how long the musical is, but 2 hours and 40 minutes for this, and to only have the first half, it feels very Dune-esque. I have very similar feelings as I did towards the first Dune, where it just felt incomplete, and it maybe used a little too much time. There were moments in this, I thought the pacing was mostly good, but there were moments where I was really kind of, checking the watch a little bit, just kind of figuring like how much longer do we have of this? Because there are moments that fly by, but then there are moments that drag a little bit. I wouldn't say it's a major issue, but it's definitely, you can feel that 2.5+ hours. And I feel like they could have trimmed out about 10 to 20 minutes out of this thing, and it would have worked a little bit better. So, there's a couple of things I feel like is holding it back. But for the most part, as somebody who hasn't watched The Wizard of Oz since childhood, who is not really familiar with the musical, I loved this thing. I had so much fun with it, and I'm really walking away very pleasantly surprised. I knew, so many people I respect in the movie world heaping praise on this thing. I knew it was going to be decent, but I was surprised at how much I loved it. I especially loved the social commentary. Like, this feels like a movie that is, fitted to the times that we live in so much. It reminded me of Barbie in that way. It's wrapped up in this fun package, but it's got a message that couldn't be more relevant to the times in which we live. And maybe that says a little bit about the human race, that these themes of, hatred and division and bullying, that these things, and control and power, these things always feel relevant to humanity. I think a little bit more relevant, unfortunately, in the past decade. But it's a movie with an incredible message, and if people really watch this and understand it, I think it is capable of having a positive effect on the world. And if art can do that, I'm incredibly impressed with it. So I'm going to give Wicked a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed myself. Obviously, it's been out for a month. I'm sure most people who wanted to see this thing have already seen it. But if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend go to your local theater, go watch it, and watch all the other great movies that are coming out this holiday season. Definitely pumped for next week, where I will be checking out Baby Girl, Nosferatu, and A Complete Unknown. So stay tuned for those movie reviews on the channel. Happy holiday season, everybody. Hope you guys, I'm doing some last minute Christmas shopping here today. So hope you guys have got your Christmas shopping done, and I hope you enjoy the holidays with family, friends, loved ones, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.